I'm starting a vlog called Road to Parker. For those who don't know, I am pregnant with a little girl. I was originally due March 2nd of 2020, but got pushed up to February 10th, 2020. And because now I have been diagnosed with preeclampsia, I have been pushed to January 13th of 2020. For those who don't know what preeclampsia is when you develop high blood pressure while you're pregnant, and it's so severe that you can either stroke or your organs will start to fail you. So for the remainder of my pregnancy, I will be in the hospital for the entire pregnancy that's left over. So I'm currently 26 weeks and 5 days. And they'll plan on delivering Parker at 34 weeks, which is January 13th. I do have, for those who don't know, I'm married with two younger kids. I have King, my son, who's 4, which his name is not King, his name is Dwayne, but we call him King. And then I have Kylie, who's 1. So there's a lot going on where I'm not going to be able to be around them. So this is basically like documenting the journey that I'm doing throughout this hospital stay and throughout Parker's like whole stay. So basically, I'm gonna give you background on my self. So I have had, before I had Dwayne King, I have had 11 miscarriages. They were like, so far as 18 weeks. Like, they wouldn't know why I would just have miscarriages. I ended up having King at 35 weeks. And then after King, I was pregnant again with twins and lost them and got pregnant again, had Kylie. When Kylie was about 6 months, I found out I was pregnant again with another little girl. Her name was Carter. I ended up losing her at 18 weeks. I had her actually the night of Christmas, and then she passed away like the next day. From Carter, I had like went straight back to work, and I realized like not knowingly like I would go get dizzy or I was hot or really cold. Come to find out, I had retained product in me, and I was walking around for 8 days with my cervix open, and ended up having to get an operation and went septic, which caused health anxiety. Anybody who deals with anxiety knows like something so small can seem so big. So my anxiety is triggered through health. So what that means is like if I hit my finger, right, I have to remind myself throughout the day that I hit my finger. That's why my finger is hurting. If I forget about it, then while my finger is hurting, it'll turn into something big in my head like, oh my God, I need to go to the hospital. So, that's a little bit of background on me, and also that hospitals kind of trigger my anxiety. So it's like a double-edged sword. Like I'm here so that Parker would be okay, but I'm kind of because I really don't like being in hospitals because it triggers anxiety attacks for me. I came to the hospital Thanksgiving morning, and they ran tests, and that's how I found out I had preeclampsia. So I don't know how to explain this, but when you go through being told that you have preeclampsia and all the symptoms that can happen, and then like you meet with the NICU doctors, because sometimes your preeclampsia can get so severe the only thing that can cure you from preeclampsia is delivering your baby. So I had to sit down with the NICU doctors, and they had to explain to us, like, okay, if we have Parker now, she'll probably be on a breathing tube, and she will be in the NICU for the period of her due date. So if we was to have her today, she would be in the NICU until March 2nd. We went through things like if she needed major surgeries, or right now the NICU at University of Pennsylvania is full, so she would have to be transported over to CHOP. So I would be going back and forth between being here from throughout my hospital stay and CHOP, and then once I was released, I would be back and forth at CHOP. We also went over things like Parker is breached, like her butt is in my cervix, her feet is over her head, so that became another issue. If I was to deliver her, I would have to have a C-section. And anybody who knows me know I don't like surgeries. So we're praying that she flips and that she stays in there longer than she would like to, but that became another issue of her being breached and me having to have a C-section. Another thing is basically with preeclampsia, you have 1 minute you can be awesome and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, and then the next minute you're on monitors because the baby heart is dipping, or my pressure is up. So I bounce between the postpartum floor and labor and delivery floor, literally. Just an example of how my day went today, like I went to go do an ST, which is a non-stress test to make sure there's no stress on the baby heart, and her heart rate went down. So they put me back at labor and delivery because in case they had to perform a C-section. And the nurse that I had, Parker, is like a firecracker everywhere. He couldn't find her heart and beat her heart rate, and he was like, he pushed like the cold button. 20 doctors came in, ultrasound. I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, what's going on? They put her on the ultrasound and she's fine. She's just in there flipping. So the doctors left. Elijah came and he had food for us and we were eating. And he's like, girl, I don't think you should be eating because I feel like you're going to have her today. You don't want to tell somebody with anxiety stuff like that. And he went to go get the docs. The docs is like, you know what? We're going to stop you from eating just in case because she's been dipping. So they put me on IV fluids and they put me on another monitor for her. Again, she flips off the monitor, and what happens? He can't find her heart rate. But it's like he looks at the bottom of your stomach versus up top, because I guess he feel like she shouldn't be that far up, but she does tend to go out there. Again, he called the cold button, and this time Elijah got to see for himself how many doctors run up in the room. Like, it's filled with doctors, like nothing but doctors. It's only the one nurse who called the cold, but the rest is doctors. So they got around again and they like, oh, she just has the hiccups. But by this time I'm already crying because I don't want to hear her yet. And he called the code and they like, oh, she just has the hiccups. I don't understand. But in his defense, he's an amazing person. And he was like, he's just really worried about me because he liked my personality. I make him smile. So, they put me back on the monitor. And before they would let me come back to the postpartum floor, because I will be on the postpartum floor until I have Parker, she had to do a breathing test where she had to breathe on her own for 30 seconds, and I had to keep my pressure down. So the first time she did it for 20 seconds, and they got 30 minutes to breathe on their own. So the second time when they went to go do it, she did pass the 30 seconds, so we didn't even have to wait that long. She passed the test, and then I got put back on the postpartum floor. But my stay isn't guaranteed weeks, it's not guaranteed days, it's not even guaranteed hours. It's literally minute by minute, like what her heart rate is doing, what my blood pressure is doing. We can have a baby at any given second. So I just wanted to I feel like it's easier to document it than always be on Facebook trying to tell everybody what's going on. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow.